Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Our Region's Business. Innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, 3 local boys who made good as presidents of the nation's leading science, engineering, and medical academies, all at the same time. Plus, pitching in to paint the 3 rivers at the EQT Three Rivers Regatta. But first, almost 3 years after the G20 summit in Pittsburgh, the world continues to beat a path to our door. Recently, a delegation from Saudi Arabia, led by a member of the royal family, traveled to Pittsburgh to open the Roads of Arabia. Our region's the first stop after the Smithsonian for the exhibition of the natural and cultural history of Arabia, stretching all the way back to Paleolithic times. Prince Sultan bin Salman bin Abdul-Aziz was on hand to cut the ribbon, but it was far from his first visit to our region. He first came here in 1983 when his mother traveled to Pittsburgh for an organ transplant.
I'm just especially happy that it's here, special affection for Pittsburgh. I just feel almost like a homey feeling here. I personally have a special appreciation for this country, for Pittsburgh. I've spent 3 summers in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yes. One time we spent about 5 months here with a family patient. I've enjoyed watching the Steelers win and lose more.
Fortunately, they win a little more.
A little, we all hope so. And enjoyed the food, enjoyed the company people, enjoyed visiting the countryside, the Amish country especially. It is a great part of the world, and I really, really thoroughly enjoy being with people here.
Dr. Sandra Olsen is Director for the Center of World Cultures at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. Welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Yes, so you're an archaeologist doing digs in Saudi Arabia. Having this exhibit show up in our town must be one of the most exciting things you could think of.
This is a dream come true for me. And when I first went to Saudi Arabia in 2009, I actually saw the Louvre conservators working on this exhibit and starting to build it. And at that moment, I didn't know that it would ever travel. And it certainly wasn't even in my mind that it could come to Pittsburgh. But I just kept mentioning to everyone at the Saudi Commission for Tourism and Antiquity how important Pittsburgh is and the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. And you know, all the stars aligned and it came together. Well,
I know in talking with Prince Sultan, he seemed very, very proud of certainly the exhibit and what's in it, but also excited about the opportunity to let the world know that Saudi Arabia didn't just sort of hatch with the birth of Islam or the discovery of oil. There's actually an amazing history there.
You know, and that's actually been an eye-opener for me as I started working in that region because the archaeology is fairly new there and people aren't exposed to it normally. But what's so important about this, I think, is the cultural connections, as Prince Sultan mentioned, that it's all about human connections, and culture is a great way to make friends and to better understand the different countries. So I think that's what's the most important about this exhibit.
And there seems to be some really significant discoveries being made. I was shocked at the sort of the cultural history of Saudi Arabia. Some of the cultural icons go back 9,000 years before the pyramids.
That's right, that's right. I mean, I like to think of it as being a bridge when early hominins left Africa, even farther back in history, and also a crossroads with the incense trade that linked it to Greece and Rome and Mesopotamia and India. And then, of course, a center for Islam. So its wealth goes way back, and it's surprising to people to find out that they didn't only become a wealthy player in the world, you know, just with the discovery of oil in 1938.
One of the things that most amazed me about it was they have this, well, you know, this, of course, there's like a stone dagger in the exhibit that lays like 9,000 years old. And, you know, I've seen stone daggers before, but this one has the curve in it, the sort of the crescent shape that you see in the modern swords and daggers you see in Arabia today.
It's a mystery, and in fact that site, Al-Maghar, which was just discovered a couple years ago, is a big mystery, and I'm very, very honored because I've been invited to join the scientific expedition to work there and try to figure out what's going on there.
I mean, what do we know about those people, or is this so new we really don't know what was going on?
Well, it's amazing. They seem fairly advanced for that time period. They have a number of animal effigies and some very advanced textile weaving, and as you said, that dagger is quite interesting. So we want to learn more. We want to try to do the scientific investigation to date it and be very precise and do some excavations. So I'm game.
Wow, that's really cool. And you mentioned that archaeology is relatively new in Arabia, or this type of examination?
Right. The first archaeological surveys of any significance only began in about 1976, and really it's only since the 1990s that you've had a big involvement with European and American groups, and they are really heightening this now. And His Royal Highness Prince Sultan is very eager to advance our knowledge of the archaeology and the history of Saudi Arabia. So another advantage of this exhibit is that it really stirs a lot of interest all over the world in their deep cultural history. So I can see scientists as well as the visitors to our museum will be very turned on by this.
Well, and really cool. There's a personal connection. There's a Pittsburgh connection now with Prince Sultan and his experience here, and now you as a Pittsburgher going over there to help dig into the answers to all of this.
Yes, I have to say, I really love working over there. It's a beautiful landscape, first of all. I like to compare it to places like Sedona, Arizona, to Monument Valley, all of those great national monuments in Utah. It's just, the landscape is stunning. And the people themselves are the most hospitable and courteous that you will ever encounter. So it's all been a totally positive experience for me.
So when do you go back over? When do you dig again?
They're hinting that we may start at Al-Magar this winter.
This winter?
Yes. So
all right.
can't wait.
Well, really exciting. The exhibit is open at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, through October into early November?
Yes, it just opened June 22nd, and it will run through November 3rd.
All right. Dr. Sandra Olsen from the Carnegie Museum, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. It's been a pleasure.
Next up, celebrating lifetimes of achievement in science, engineering, and medicine involving 3 native sons of our region. Stay with us.